Okay, so today's video is going to be about the types of empaths there are. So what types of empaths are there? As always, um, empaths are my mission. You are my mission, and my way is through Christ. And I like to just provide practical tips. So the types of empaths there are. Let's first start off with what is an empath. An empath is someone who can sense the energy around them, right? So think of it as they have like a little extra boop antenna up that can pick up on specific energy beyond the five senses. They can feel this either in their physical form or through their spirit, right? So Judith Orloff says about 25% of the population might be empaths. This is from the Empath Survival Guide, I believe, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. And so I'm using this and also the Happy Empath Workbook, which I would suggest you work through also for this base information. Okay, so the types of empaths there are. There are 25%, right, of people, and keep in mind that this is on a spectrum. Meaning that you can be HSP, which is a highly sensitive person, all the way to full-blown empath. And then with that, you have kind of specializations. There's special little antennas, where you can pick up different energy. For me, the base, at least I've always experienced, in the empaths that I've all met, the base is kind of the emotional empath, which is what I am. So the emotional empath picks up on the physical energy of people around them. So this person, when you're in an angry situation, you're going to be angry with people, right? So in order to refill, right, for the emotional empath, number one, you refill yourself, focus on the Holy Spirit and positivity and dwell in that positivity. And that's a way for the emotional empath to kind of, refill. So you have an antenna to emotions. And I feel like this is the base. A lot of people say, oh, well, I'm a spiritual empath, but I'm not much of a emotional empath. And I feel like at least you have some, right? And you might notice ways in which you are more of one later. So the emotional empath. Now the physical empath is one where you absorb the physical state or symptoms of others, right? This is your connection with human beings. You're able to absorb their physical symptoms, but you're also energized by well-being. That's how you refill. Maybe stop by a gym, go to a yoga class, because you're going to refill from those people who have generally feeling of well-being. I've had a situation where someone came to my house, and I'm only slightly a little bit. This only happened once, where someone came to my home, and I had difficulties after they left walking up the stairs. Very stiff, and it turned out the person had arthritis. Right. So that is one of the one of the symptoms. You might get sick quite often. So that's the physical empath. Now the third one we're going to go to is the plant empath. These people have green thumbs like nobody's business. They can touch a plant and it starts to grow. I do not have this. It takes work for me. But you have those people who are really good with plants, and their house is filled with live plants, unlike my home. It's filled with slightly alive plants. So these people have green thumbs. I would encourage you to spend time in nature. Untouched by man for me is the best. But if you can't go to a park, just spend some time digging in the ground with the plants. So that's how you would refill. The fourth one is going to be earth empaths, which I have not met a lot of, honestly. But these people feel kind of natural disasters, the planet, the solar system, weather. So they might get nauseous around an earthquake. Not sure how you would refill. Maybe their energy points. I don't know. but likely spending time in nature will help you. Away from all that technology and it helps everyone. Okay, the next one is the animal empath, and these are the horse whisperers, the dog whisperers, people who just can enjoy being around animals. There's a saint that's actually, who's known for being close to animals and being able to communicate with animals. So you can tune into animals and communicate with them. Encourage you, spend time with animals. That's how you're gonna energize yourself, helping animals, feeding animals, taking care of animals, but also just being and having fun and having a playful spirit with them. So those are more of the, I would call them physical empaths, like on this physical state, or kind of this realm or energy of human, interaction or nature interaction, creations of God. Now we're going to move into the spiritual empath, which is one that has access to spirits on the other side. So I would encourage you to do your research on spiritual creatures if you are a spiritual empath, but there are angels and demons and all types of beautiful creations of God that we're just unable to see. The spiritual empath can see. As always, you're going to refill, just like all of us will, through the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of God, communing with Him, prayer with Him. So those are the kind of emotional or the energy empaths, I want to say, kind of an exchange of energy. Now the other section that I'm going to talk about now are, for me, it's a bit different than how the other writers, or these writers, I'm going to write it, these writers, is what they would call the clairvoyants. Those are the people who kind of, the telepaths, the precogs, the dream empaths, and I use that. But for me, I was reading this book, Your Sixth Sense, and he was talking about how there are 3 different ways of knowing. Number one, it's experiential knowledge. Knowledge that you read in books, you learn from other people. Everyone has that, right? The experiential knowledge. The second one is the empathic sense. Kind of he calls it the intuition, or it's like an energy sense. And that's what being an empath is, right? Energy. So I'm not sure. I think that these are they're empaths, but it's a different type of empath, which is more of the truth, kind of psychic knowing. People don't like the word, so I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about what that is really quickly. Okay, so knowledge, right, or wisdom. The Lord formed me in the beginning before He created anything else. I was appointed in ages of past and at the very first, before the earth began. I was born before the oceans were created, before the springs bubble forth their waters. And this is talking about wisdom. That's Psalms 8:22 through, I think, 24. So for me, I call it knowledge space, or there's this space that is kind of was created before the existence of the earth that people have access to. This is that kind of eureka moment. I feel like just like everyone can have a little bit of an empath sense. A lot of people have access to this kind of knowledge space that is kind of formed before the existence of the earth. And these are the 3 that I would say have access to that knowledge space more freely. An empath for me is an emotional sense, but this feels more like a data download, right? It's neutral because knowledge is neutral, right? It's how you use it. Wisdom, right, is from God. So anyway, so the telepathic sense, they can read what is happening to others in real time, images, thoughts, feelings. For me, that means they have access to knowledge space in real time. But for me, time is also not linear for God. So I find that interesting that it comes to them linearly or in the moment. Precognitive are future events. Those people who might have a knowledge of something that's going to happen in the future, right? You prophesizing, they know something that's going to happen, or it could just be a factual event that we have no way of changing, right? So the next one is the dream empath, and this is people who receive their information in knowledge base. They go into knowledge base and receive this in dreams. And this is kind of, it bypasses the ego and the consciousness and gives you clear, intuitive information, right? But this is all, remember, information. So, what kind of empath are you? I encourage you to talk and use the Holy Spirit as the guide that He is. If you have questions about what type of empath you are, and generally, He talks to you, He meets you in your authenticity. So where you feel the most pull, where you feel the most vulnerability sometimes is where God speaks to us the strongest. When the places we don't want to open is where God actually speaks to us when we kind of surrender and expose, right? Rumi says, right, the light comes from, or the wound, the light is where the wound comes from. The wound is where the light comes from. Thank you. So, anyway, wishing you love and light and peace on your journey and guidance through the Holy Spirit. Thank you.